Okay, so have you ever noticed that when you're browsing through your expansions, and sometimes you go over a drum program, it starts playing, you can hear the sounds inside of the program? That's because there's a folder called previews, and inside that folder you have WAV files that are associated to the programs that you are highlighting. So whilst you're browsing through all these programs, you can hear the sounds that are inside these programs. That's the previews folder. It's a very helpful folder. The reason why I'm sharing this is because I'm actually creating a folder of my own with all my drum loops, and I'm using that function of the previews folder. I'm going to show you how you can create that. It's very simple. Now there's a bit of a drawback here because I don't think that you can do it in standalone mode. You're going to have to connect your MPC Live to the computer to create that special folder inside of your hard drive in your standalone. But once you do that, you'll be good to go. You can just preview all your drum loops that way. This is especially useful when you're using key group programs because you want to hear whatever the sound is inside of the key group. Unless you already know how that key group sounds, you have no way of listening to it. I've created a few key groups using that technique. I'm going to show you how it is just by going into the browser. Okay, so here on my desktop I have two folders that I created. I got my key groups right here. I'm just going to go inside and you see that I've created a few key groups right here, and if I hover over them you can listen to the previews. Once you find a key group that you like, you can just press on it and then start playing it. So very useful for key groups. I also have another folder. This is for finger drummers, and I'm going to go inside it. Here I have 4 programs that I created. I can just preview them the same way. Okay, so I enjoy this one. I'll just press do it, load, and now you can play it straight away on your pads. You can create an expansion, but you don't really need to unless you want to see the photo as well. I don't really care too much about that. I create a folder and just drop it into my hard drive. It's the same thing. You don't need to create an expansion, but if you do, then go ahead. But for now, I'm just going to create a folder, and inside that folder, I'm going to drop all my programs that I want, and then I'm going to create inside the same folder, I'm going to create a previews folder. Inside that previews folder, you're going to drop all your WAV files, okay? It also works with MP3, so you don't need to create a WAV file. You can just create an MP3. It's just a preview, so there's no need to create a WAV file. It just takes up more space. You don't really want that. Okay, so here we have 2 files that I want to show you. Inside of these files, you can see that I have my programs. Okay, so the same programs that you saw on the MPC. FD1, 2, all the rest here are just the one-shots or the samples that are associated to the program. But you save all the programs inside of one folder like this, and then you create this folder right here. This is the previews. This is where you drop your MP3 or your WAV files that are going to be previewing once you highlight this in your MPC browser, okay? So the only thing you need to do here is to have the same previews folder inside of all the rest of your programs, okay? You have to do something here to your file as well. Notice how I wrote it. So it's FD1, and then I put a dot and I write program, XPM dot WAV or MP3, which one you chose, right? So this is associated to that file right there, okay? You have to write the same name, then you go for the dot XPM and then dot MP3 or WAV, the one you chose, okay? Then I have that right there, fd2.xpm.wav. So that's all you need to do. Whenever you highlight this in your browser, that preview is going to start playing. Now I did the same thing for my key groups, exactly the same thing. I created a folder and I dropped all the programs inside of this folder right here. You can see that's one of the programs right there. All the rest are just the files, the WAV files for the program. This is another program, and so on. I have the program inside saved to the folder with all the samples that are inside of the program. And then I created the previews. You can see the type of brackets I created right there. It has to be exactly like this, okay? Not preview, but previews. And then I did the same thing. I write the name of the program, .xpm for program, .wav, and that's how it works. So it's pretty simple. This right here is on my desktop, but I can move this anywhere. It doesn't really matter. Find the place where you want to store this, and it's done. So it's super simple. As I said, I'm using this to create my drum loop library. I just want to be able to listen to a drum loop that inspires me and just load it up straight away so I can start making my own beats. Now what I'm doing here, I'm going to go into my drum loops. And it's the same thing. You hover over the drum program and then you just load it up, the one you want. I'm going to load this one up. So this is my drum program number 2. There we go. Now there's another thing that I want. I want the MIDI, and I'm also saving that right here. So there's the MIDI. Load it up. And now I have my drum going. And that's it. I hope that you've enjoyed the tip. Previews. Use it and have fun making beats. I'll see you on the next video. Take care, man.